Section 2:1 Introduction to Alpha, Calculating Alpha, 2.1 Alpha Calculation Methods. Different approaches are used to calculate alpha, including the Capital Asset Pricing Model, CAPM, and multifactor models. Here's an overview of these approaches. Capital Asset Pricing Model, CAPM. The CAPM is a widely used model that estimates the expected return of an investment based on its beta, a measure of its sensitivity to market movements. The formula for calculating alpha using the CAPM is, alpha equals actual return, risk-free rate beta, market return, risk-free rate. In this formula, the actual return represents the investment's realized return, the risk-free rate is the return on a risk-free asset like a treasury bill. Beta measures the investment sensitivity to market movements, and the market return represents the overall market performance. The alpha calculated using the CAPM represents the excess return of the investment beyond what would be expected based on its beta and the market return. Positive alpha indicates outperformance, while negative alpha suggests underperformance. Multifactor models expand upon the CAPM by considering multiple factors that influence investment returns. These models attempt to capture additional sources of risk and return beyond the market factor. Common multifactor models include the Fama-French 3-factor model and the Carhart 4-factor model. These models typically incorporate factors such as market risk, size, market capitalization, value, book-to-market ratio, and momentum. The formula for calculating alpha in multifactor models is similar to the CAPM but incorporates the effects of multiple factors. It adjusts the expected return based on the exposure of the investment to each factor, allowing for a more comprehensive evaluation of alpha. By using multifactor models, investors can gain insights into the sources of an investment's performance beyond just market movements. Positive alpha in a multifactor model suggests that the investment has generated excess returns not explained by the selected factors. It's worth noting that there are various other models and approaches for calculating alpha, and the choice of model depends on the specific context and factors relevant to the investment being analyzed. Additionally, the accuracy of alpha calculations can be influenced by data quality, model assumptions, and the time period considered. Interpreting alpha values requires understanding whether they are positive, negative, or zero and considering the context of the investment. Here are some implications based on different alpha values. Positive alpha. A positive alpha indicates that the investment or portfolio has outperformed the benchmark after adjusting for risk. Implication: the investment has generated excess returns beyond what would be expected based on the level of risk taken. It suggests that the portfolio manager has made successful investment decisions or employed a strategy that has resulted in above-average performance. Negative alpha. A negative alpha suggests that the investment or portfolio has underperformed the benchmark after adjusting for risk. Implication: the investment has generated lower returns compared to what would be expected given the level of risk taken. It suggests that the portfolio manager's investment decisions or strategy have not been successful in generating returns above the benchmark. Zero alpha. A zero alpha indicates that the investment or portfolio has performed in line with the benchmark after adjusting for risk. Implication: the investment has generated returns consistent with what would be expected based on the level of risk taken. It suggests that the portfolio manager's investment decisions or strategy have not added any significant value beyond the benchmark. It's important to consider the time period over which alpha is calculated. Short-term fluctuations in alpha may not necessarily indicate the long-term skill of a portfolio manager. Evaluating alpha over multiple market cycles or a longer period can provide a more accurate assessment of investment performance. Additionally, when interpreting alpha values, it's important to consider other factors such as the investment's risk profile, the consistency of alpha generation, the market conditions during the period analyzed, and the robustness of the methodology used to calculate alpha. Lastly, alpha should not be the sole determinant of investment decisions. It should be considered alongside other performance metrics, risk measures, and qualitative factors relevant to the investment strategy and the investor's goals and preferences.